Several years ago, our denomination rolled out a new age-graded curriculum to be used with the very youngest of Presbyterians all the way down in the nursery and all the way to the most seasoned Presbyterians of more mature years and everyone in between. Essentially, there were 3 tracks: knowing the Word, believing the Word, and doing the Word. Perhaps Ford Street used this, I don't know. And church leaders would choose the track or tracks that they felt would be most useful given the makeup of their congregation and the particular theological bent of the congregation. The underlying idea seemed to be that the first step in coming to faith is to know the Bible, learn the stories, almost starting at birth, be surrounded by the language of faith, experience the Presbyterian symbols and rituals, and then with this grounding and common knowledge and experience, step 2. Move us to focus on what we believe, what we hold to be true about the Bible, the church, the world, ourselves, and God. The values we hold in common. Think about what is important and our understanding of how we relate to God and to one another and how God relates to us and to the world. And then came step 3. This is where things begin to get real practical, where, so to speak, the rubber meets the road. Doing the Word asks the question, what difference does knowing the Bible and being clear about what you believe make in our lives? What does knowing the Bible and holding fast to what we believe to be true to compel us to do in the world? Do the scriptures we claim as our guide to faith and life, do the things that we profess that we believe require something of us? And if so, what is required? Now we'll come back to this in a bit. Now, remember Nicodemus, a Pharisee, a teacher of Israel, a powerful leader among the Jewish people. Nicodemus is a member of the Sanhedrin, the highest governing body of the Jewish people, the powerful religious council speaking the final word when conflicts arose in the religious life among the Jewish community. Powerful Nicodemus has been watching and observing Jesus, all that Jesus is saying, all that Jesus is doing, how Jesus is living his life, how the crowds are responding to this Jesus who is different, to say the least, pushing against long-held beliefs and traditions, turning everything literally upside down. Nicodemus has been getting to know this Jesus story, getting a little more familiar with Jesus and what he's all about. And now Nicodemus has some questions. Seeking out Jesus, powerful Nicodemus doesn't confront Jesus publicly in the brightness of day, ready to pass judgment or to have a theological debate. No, Nicodemus quietly, almost stealthily under cover of night, goes looking for Jesus. Very likely Nicodemus was very well-intentioned, maybe curious about Jesus. Something about Jesus is drawing him in. Maybe he's intrigued and wants to know more. Somehow, Nicodemus may be thinking Jesus has something important to offer, something that's missing for Nicodemus, something he hasn't been able to find yet, something he might want in his own life. At any rate, Nicodemus has some questions. And as Jesus talks to him, it becomes very clear Nicodemus just doesn't get what Jesus is talking about. So what's with Nicodemus? This deeply religious man, very well-versed teacher of Judaism, highly steeped in the tradition. Well, right now, Jesus is turning Nicodemus' world upside down, offering Nicodemus something Nicodemus cannot comprehend, and he is left completely confused. And yet, at the very same time, something is drawing Nicodemus into a relationship with Jesus. Something is compelling him to seek something more, something he does not yet understand. Now, we don't hear about Nicodemus for 16 more chapters when he comes to help bury Jesus' body. This time, Nicodemus comes to Jesus publicly, in the light of day, with an enormous amount of expensive spices to prepare Jesus' body for burial. We have no idea what happened to Nicodemus between the two stories. But something about Jesus keeps drawing him into this relationship that transforms his life. What is so attractive about Jesus that Nicodemus is drawn to him? What is so compelling about Jesus that Nicodemus is actively involved with Jesus at the very, very end? Jesus is there. Jesus is here, showing us how to live life, teaching us how amazing our lives can be, how we can be fully human, the whole people of God, living deeply rich lives, making a difference in the world. We often think of belief as ideas and concepts, those things we argue about in good Presbyterian fashion. But maybe what Jesus is offering Nicodemus isn't concepts and beliefs, but rather an experience of life. Real life, genuine life, real new life. We think about faith as having confidence or trust in something or someone, holding certain things to be true and holding on to them tightly and firmly no matter what. But maybe what Jesus is offering Nicodemus isn't a list of proven facts or things we have to believe even if they're not proven. Maybe what Jesus is offering Nicodemus is an experience of discovering a living truth and being free and living into life in a whole new way. What if belief is actually being grasped so deeply in the core of your being, you are compelled to live life differently, to make different choices, to do certain things as you gradually are transformed? And what if faith is really about how we lean into life, how faithfully we are doing life the way Jesus would? That's what James Fowler says faith is. He says faith is not a noun. Faith is not a thing. Faith, according to Fowler, is a verb. Faith is active, not passive. Faith is how we live our lives, how we approach each day, the things we do, the choices we make. Faith is about living and living abundantly, richly, and fully. Faith is about living our lives so that other people can have life that is abundant and rich and full. And this is the kind of faith young adults are looking for. An active faith with rich, deep experiences, with rich, deep relationships that are life-affirming and life-giving. They are not looking for a set of beliefs which they are expected to believe and embrace and adhere to. They are not looking for a place where they are told what to believe and how to think. Young people, even in our own neighborhood, are looking for spaces. Spaces where they are welcomed and valued just as they are. A place where they can work and serve alongside others to make a positive difference in the world, in their world, in our world. They're looking for partners so they can work together to help their community, making the lives of others better. Young people are searching for places with life-giving experiences and relationships, and they have no time or patience or energy for life-diminishing commitments. They gravitate to the places that are broadly and inclusively welcoming, where they can give and where they can serve, using their lives, their energies, their skills, their insights, their creativity to make their communities stronger and healthier and to make a difference in the world. This is the kind of faith community that will draw young people, just like Nicodemus was drawn to Jesus. A faith community affirming life for all people without insisting on a rigid, firmly set belief system. A faith community accepting without judgment that many young people know little or nothing about church or Bible or Jesus, and they often don't care much about these things either. A faith community welcoming them anyway into a safe space where they can belong and serve and explore and question and grow. This is the kind of faith community young people today are seeking. They might become curious about Jesus, or Christians, or church, or Bible. They might become intrigued and want to know more. Just like Nicodemus, they might discover Jesus has something important for them, something important to offer, something that may be missing for them, something they haven't been able to find yet, something they may want in their own lives. But first, there has to be a welcoming, safe place that keeps drawing them into relationships, into life in a community that just might transform their lives. You see, this is a generation seeking for a community where they can belong first, and later, perhaps, come to believe. So back to the old Presbyterian curriculum. It seems like a logical curriculum. Know the Word, believe the Word, then do the Word or live out the Word. Seems like a logical progression of faith. It's just that in our current postmodern, post-industrial, post-denominational, post-Christian world, in our age of information overload, the steps to faith tend to come in different orders now. We can try to force it to be another way. Perhaps the way we came to faith, the way we were taught, the methods that used to work, or we can get on board accepting the fact that the world we live in is different, that people born in the last 20 to 30 years have different life experiences, different ways of knowing and being in the world, and today's young people are coming to faith in reverse order, seeking first a place to belong before they believe. The really big question for 4th Street here is, are we ready to reach out faithfully, meeting young people where they really are? And do we care enough to live faithfully, inviting young people to belong even before they believe, even if they never believe in a way that we fully understand? As we continue walking the way Jesus takes us, can we offer relationships attractive, compelling, alluring enough to draw seeking people to 4th Street, the way Jesus drew Nicodemus into a life-giving relationship, even if Nicodemus didn't really know what was happening at the time? Will you pray with me? Holy One, always luring us to yourself in ways that get our attention and draw us in. We thank you for how we came to faith. We value our experiences. Now open us to the ways in which others, especially young people, come to faith. As you invite us to partner with you in drawing your children into closer communion with the holy in their lives, help us to provide for all of your children, especially those who most need us, the experiences, the relationships, the resources, the spaces where they can belong, where they can lean into life faithfully, where they can serve with their abundant and life-giving energy, where they can explore the longings of their hearts.